Well, day three's in the books. Um, the new plan was we left Hanksville, Utah, ran up Highway 24 to I-70, US 191, US 6, and eventually on into south side of Salt Lake City. There's a BMW dealership here, and there is a KTM dealership. KTM dealership doesn't have what we need. BMW dealership, on the other hand, does. So my bike got dropped off this afternoon, and I got an Uber ride over to Hampton Inn. It was pretty cheap, and the kids just followed the Uber, and he was pretty good about making sure that they were keeping up with them because I told them they had no idea where they were going. And we were in a lot of traffic in an unfamiliar area, so he was really nice about that. Got everything loaded up, got our room. Today was Daniel's birthday. He turned 17 today, woo. So he pointed out that there's a Texas Roadhouse across the street, and it's his birthday. So guess who bought dinner? So we went over and had a great dinner. It's kind of funny. They were apologizing because their air conditioner was broken. She was talking about how humid it was in the restaurant, and I was like, are you serious? But it's all relative. You live up here, 20% humidity probably feels pretty miserable. We were enjoying it. Anyway, it was an interesting ride. When you head north on 24, it's got to be one of the longest, perfectly straight roads I've ever ridden. There's one that goes across New Mexico where they have all the big satellite dishes that was in that movie Contact. And I thought that was long and straight and boring. The scenery on this road was really awesome, but Utah has low speed limits, so it's 65 miles an hour if you're going to stay legal. So we're cruising along. It's hot. It's 95. There's no shade, nothing but sun. And Daniel tells me, I got to pull over. He's been having a lot of trouble with nosebleeds for some reason. And, he does like an saline solution inhaler to try to help. Apparently it doesn't help a whole lot. This was a pretty good one. We're on the side of the road in full gear, helmet, jackets, boots, cooking. And he's going through Kleenex as fast as he can get them under his face. He had a big pile of nasty Kleenex. And the reason he realized his nose was bleeding was because it was spewing back up on his face shield and making specks of blood on his face shield. And then by the time we get pulled over and get stopped, he's got blood, running down his new jacket, blood stains, and it's a pale gray jacket. So, it ain't coming out. He's back there snoozing right now. He knocks out pretty early. Sarah got my genes. She doesn't knock out early. She just got done surfing. And anyway, it took a good 20 minutes for his nose to stop bleeding. It left quite a mess on the side of the road. Anybody who saw it might think something died there because the size of some of the... Anyway, it was gross. Finally got that under control. Got back on the road. Got on I-70 for a short bit, heading back toward the Green River, and then I think that's where we got on Highway 6, and then just started to run towards Salt Lake City. And it was pretty hot and boring to the last few miles. And then we hit Interstate 15 on the south side of town, and Sarah said that was worse than riding up Moki Dugway and some of the other stuff that she's done the last few days. Because there was just so much traffic, and everybody's really cruising on the freeway, and they're cutting in front of us and everything else. And, we're able to talk to each other, so we're helping each other out, and I'm leading, telling them, hey, I'm getting ready to change lanes when this car comes by, so get ready, those kind of things, making sure that we're not running too fast, because apparently Sarah's bike, once she gets up to about 77, 78, somewhere in that area, it starts to get a little bit of a head shake. She says it helps when she moves her weight back, which makes me think she needs less preload in the rear suspension so that the nose comes up, or more preload in the front. Either way, I was kind of surprised because with all the weight of the luggage and everything on there on the bike, I would have thought that it would have been pretty stable. Daniel, he's not having any trouble with it at all. You know, well, if he does, he's not saying anything. He told me it was fine. He'll run 75, 80 without any problems. But I generally try to keep us around 70 at the most, maybe 75 if we're passing someone. Try to make sure we have a lot of time to pass so that Sarah doesn't have to really hot dog it to try to get around someone. But that last 20 minutes riding up the interstate to get to the dealership was hot, and it got 100 degrees by the time we got to the dealership. By the time I got in the dealership and I'm trying to talk to the guy and tell him what's going on and get off the bike and get all the gear off, I was burning up. And they had a fridge in there with Gatorade in it, which was really nice. So we got some of that. And I contacted the Uber guy. He was there real quick, had a Toyota Highlander, so he had lots of luggage space in the back, which was good. I just felt really bad because his car was spotless clean, and I'm dumping all this nasty, dirty luggage in the back of the car, and my gear's a mess. He didn't seem to mind, and he was very patient with us. So that was cool. Bike's getting new fork seals tomorrow. Getting new front brake pads installed, and the brakes will get bled because the fork oil got all over the brake pads, which ruins the brake pads. You know, you don't get the friction you want. So anyway, that's another couple $100 I wasn't planning on spending, and I'm really hoping we get all this stuff out of the way early on and we can just start enjoying the rest of the trip. And you know, inconvenient, but whatever. We still got to find a brake lever for Sarah's bike, and the brake lever that's on there is bent back on itself. You know, it's a 180 degree shape from hitting the ground and doing this when Daniel fell over in the sand. There was apparently one brake lever in the entire United States, and it was in Scottsdale, Arizona. So I was able to call that dealer. He sold the lever to me and agreed to ship it to a dealer here in Provo, and it should be here Friday or Saturday, and they'll hold it for us. So in the meantime, we're going to head back south towards Cedar City, Zion National Park, Bryce Canyon, and then come back up the Escalante National Monument on Highway 12 and 24 through Torrey, and also do a lot of what's called Skyline Drive. That's a really awesome dirt road that I did years ago with Sarah that runs along the ridge of the mountains that are just east of Interstate 15. And so we're going to try to do a lot of that. So it'll be 4 days, basically, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then most of Saturday. And we got to get back here before the dealer closes at 7 so we can pick up the new brake lever. The lever she's got works. It's just in a different position than she's used to. It's just kind of annoying when you're riding on the dirt. So I'd like to get that fixed so we don't have that going for the rest of the trip. So we'll just make a big loop south, come back here, grab the new brake lever, and then continue basically on the original route that we had planned. I think maybe this will have cost us an extra day, but you know, it's an extra day that we kind of have been enjoying, being able to stay in a couple hotels to sleep in this morning before we left, and then tomorrow morning we don't have to be out of the hotel till noon, and the bike's not supposed to be ready till 11. So we'll probably sleep in here, have a good breakfast, get everything cleaned up, and I'll get an Uber and head back to the dealership. Sarah might need to take a hanky because she was drooling all over the bikes. I mean, they had a lot of beautiful bikes there, and it's a Triumph, BMW, Ducati dealership. So yeah, price tags are pretty in line with the altitude around here with the mountains. It's pretty high. But it's a beautiful evening, you know, at the mountains. You know, after we went over to the Texas Roadhouse and had dinner, we came out and the sun was going down, and we kind of hung out for a little while on a picnic table next to one of the gas stations and enjoyed the evening before I came back over here and had to figure out what we were going to do for the routes and stuff. So anyway, the trip will go on. We'll hopefully get everything fixed, and we'll see how it goes from there. Having a great time, not being at work, riding motorcycles. Doesn't get much better than that. Bye.